Hey friends, welcome back to Pages and Grace. My name is Jess. Thank you so much for being here today. Today I have a special video for you. It has taken me a very long time to get this video finished, edited, all the things. And that is my bookshelf tour. So I have gone through book by book to show you the different books that are on my shelves. Now these shelves, I will tell you that the shelves I'm showing you today are the books that are read. There are a few books that I wanted to keep together that I have not finished, and I will go through those with you as I talk about the books. But for the most part, the books you will see today are my read shelves. I do have a whole full shelf and a cart over here that are my TBR books that I will go through at a later date. But for today, I have my read books that I want to share with you. And I will tell you, I did make some changes to the top shelf in between when I filmed that one and when I filmed the rest of the shelves. So the only difference, I think, is I redid my husband's shelves out in the living room, and in that I brought all the Harry Potter books in here to make room for his books. And so I added all the Harry Potter hardcover editions up here. They are not going to be in the video, but just know if you see them in a later clip, that's why they moved in here. Otherwise, you're going to see that my shelves are chaotically organized. I don't know, it makes sense in my head. It looks the way I want it to look, and so that's the way they are. I don't have an extensive collection of any one genre. I don't like to pay full price for books that I don't love. And so sometimes you'll see that I read a lot of books, but I don't own them physically. I either get them from the library, I listen to them on audio through Libby or through Audible or through Everand. I have Kindle Unlimited, so I read a lot of them on my Kindle for free, well, included with a membership. So a lot of these books you see here are the ones that I absolutely loved. There are some books like on the top shelf that I probably bought before I read the book, and therefore, I don't know, I have a hard time letting go of books once I pay money for them. So I'm going to stop chatting here. I can't wait for you to see all of the books. So I would love to chat books with you in the comments. Let me know if you've read these books, if you find any that are interesting you want to know more about. I'm just going to be brief. This video is going to be long enough on its own. I'm going to be brief, tell you the name, tell you the author, and then if I like the classic section, if I've read it or if I haven't read it. But yeah, if there's more you want to know about a book, just let me know. All right, so here we are on the top shelf. I'm going to go through the books on the top shelf first. First, I have my globe from my classroom. I found it at a yard sale. Yeah, I found this at a yard sale, and I had it in my classroom, and now that I'm no longer teaching, I brought it home with me. I've got a couple older books. I also have Sharpies, my Sharpies up here, and some little things there. One of them's a half-completed rosary there. Things I don't want in the hands of my little boys, and so they kind of live up here, tucked back, where nobody wants the boys to get hold of a Sharpie. Okay, so over here I have like my middle grade and young adult books that I'm going to go through. The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street, I Survived, The Galveston Hurricane, 1910. I have 2 copies of Charlotte's Web. I had this one previously, and then I found this one for $1 at a thrift store. It's a beautiful hardcover edition that I wanted. Sarah, Plain and Tall by Patricia McLaughlin. And the next one in that series, Skylark by Patricia McLaughlin. These were both favorites from when I was a kid. I checked this one out from the library I don't know how many times. Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus by Dusty Bowling. Wish by Barbara O'Connor. Counting by Sevens by Holly Goldberg Sloan. Bound for Home by Mika Hashimoto. The Trail by Mika Hashimoto. Green Glass House by Kate Milford. Ground Zero by Alan Gratz. Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. Little House in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder. Little House on the Prairie by Laura Ingalls Wilder. The Long Winter, On the Banks of Plum Creek, By the Shores of Silver Lake, all by Laura Ingalls Wilder. The Great Illustrated Classics edition of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. I found this at a thrift store for cheap. The Inventions and Researches and Writings of Nikola Tesla. It's the Barnes & Noble editions that they have. The Cat at the Door and Other Stories to Live By, Affirmations for Children. This is a book that my mom used to read stories to us from that I have from her collection and keep it up here for my kids when they get a little older. So around the corner, I have some kind of a combination of different things that I didn't have room for elsewhere. So I have some secular contemporary romance, and then I have my Harry Potter special edition and a couple fantasy and just contemporary YA that I didn't really have a lot of, so I just put them all together up here. Okay, I used to read a lot of Mary Kay Andrews. I don't know as though I would recommend these at this point, but I still have these two on my shelf. I have Mary Kay Andrews' Sunset Beach, a signed edition, and Mary Kay Andrews' The High Tide Club. Waiting for Tom Hanks by Carrie Winfrey. How to Keep a Secret by Sarah Morgan. Those Summer Nights by Mandy Baggett. That Fine Line by Cindy Steele. The One with the Kiss Cam by Cindy Steele. My Phony Valentine by Courtney Walsh. My Lucky Charm by Courtney Walsh. The Dating Charade by Melissa Ferguson. An Island Summer. The Beach House. The House at Firefly Beach. Summer at Firefly Beach, which this is the second book. I had those out of order. The Memory Keeper, Butterfly Sisters, The Magic of Sea Glass, and her most recent, The Golden Hour, all by Jenny Hale. Lucy Loves Him Not by Rebecca Jo Jackson. A Curse So Dark and Lonely, A Heart So Fierce and Broken, and A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kimmerer. And then I have The Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Goblet of Fire, all Harry Potter illustrated editions. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is the third book in the trilogy. I only own the third one. I have read them all three of them, but this is one I found on Book Outlet one time, and I still haven't collected the rest of the series. I'm not sure if I will continue to collect the series. And The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. All right, here we are on the second shelf. I have my pumpkin here that I'm going to move. I have nonfiction here. It's not really in any order, but let's just get started here. So I have A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson. Kind is the New Classy by Candace Cameron Bure. One Last Strike by Tony LaRussa. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Sloot. Find Your Path by Carrie Underwood. Complete National Parks of the United States by National Geographic. See You at the Campground. Where Should We Camp Next? Where Should We Camp Next? National Parks. And Where Should We Camp Next? Camping 101, all by Stephanie and Jeremy Puglisi. The Magic and Mystery of Trees by Jen Green. This one is a children's book. I do keep a couple children's books back up here for when my kids get a little older. The National Parks. In Freaking Fertility by Melanie Dale. Go See the Principal by Jerry Brooks. Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. How I Killed Pluto and Why It Had It Coming by Mike Brown. And I have 2 copies of Quiet by Susan Cain. One for my shelves and one to lend out. Create Anyway by Ashley Gadd. Weapons of Mass Instruction by John Taylor Gatto. The Lost Art of Reading Nature's Signs by Tristan Gooley. The Call of the Wild and Free by Ainsley Arment. Pastured Poultry Profits by Joel Salatin. Balanced and Barefoot by Angela Hanscom. Let's readjust here a little bit to make it around the corner. 101 Chicken Keeping Hacks by Lisa Steele. Squarefoot Gardening by Mel Bartholomew. Missouri Wildflowers by Edgar Dennison, the 6th edition. This is put out by the Department of Conservation. The Healing Herbs, The Ultimate Guide by Michael Castleman. Okay, I've got books falling left and right, so hopefully we'll make it through this stack here. How to Speak Chicken by Melissa Coffey. The Dirty Life by Kristen Kimball. Animal Vegetable Miracle by Barbara Kingsolver. Food Anatomy, Farm Anatomy, and Nature Anatomy, all by Julia Rothman. Folks, This Ain't Normal by Joel Salatin. Missouri's Wild Mushrooms by Maxine Stone. First Time Homesteader by Jessica Sowards. The First Time Gardener Growing Vegetable by Jessica Sowards. The Backyard Homestead Guide to Raising Farm Animals. And then I have a couple children's books. I have Chickenology and Pigology. Okay, let's turn the corner. I have more nonfiction over here. I don't know why I put some nonfiction over there and some over here. I just do. And then move on to my collection of classics, Some are read, some are not. I didn't want to break up my classics, so I keep them all together even if I haven't read them. Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond, The Pioneers by David McCullough, The American Spirit, and John Adams by David McCullough. Okay, on to my classics. There is really no organization to this. I kind of collected them by size. It needs to be gone through at some point, but today's not the day. I'm just going to show you what I have and tell you if I've read it or not. A Christmas Carol I have read. The Chimes and the Cricket on the Hearth I have not read, by Charles Dickens. The Barnes & Noble Classics edition of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. I have not read this one. Actually, I'm going to move it over. Moby Dick by Herman Melville, I have read. Dracula by Bram Stoker, I am in the middle of reading. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, I have read. I don't know if I said it, but I have not read Journey to the Center of the Earth. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was actually recommended to me by one of my middle school students. She said it had a lot to do with what we had learned about that year in earth science, and so I eventually picked it up, and it absolutely does. I thought that was amazing that my 6th grade student is here recommending classic books to me. Made my day. And then another copy of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Jules Verne. This is the Paper Mill Press edition, special edition. I would not recommend these copies of it. This is the one and only Paper Mill Press edition that we have. I think we got it from Book Outlet. They are just not the quality I was looking for. Christmas Treasury by Louisa May Alcott, I have not read. Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, I have not read. I have in the Great Classics for Children edition, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. And in that same edition, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and this beautiful edition of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Another edition of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Persuasion by Jane Austen, Emma by Jane Austen, and another beautiful edition of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Okay, I'm not gonna move the camera, but I'm gonna go into some of my historical fiction, secular historical fiction. The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan. The Secret Wife of Aaron Burr by Susan Holloway Scott. The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. A Girl Called Samson by Amy Harmon. Water for Elephants by Susan Gruen. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. The Four Winds. The Great Alone. And The Nightingale, all by Kristen Hanna. Okay, we're finally down where my tripod will actually reach the shelves. So I'm actually not going to go over all my Christmas books right now. These are my read Christmas books. Over here are some of my TBR Christmas books that I have not read. There are a few fall books that I'm going to talk about real quick before I move on with my shelves. But I'm going to do a separate Christmas TBR Christmas book collection during the month of December. So here I have the Sweater Weather series and a few other fall themed books. Just Don't Fall by Emma St. Clair. Can't Help Falling by Courtney Walsh. Faking the Fall by Julie Christensen. Easy as Pie by Karina Taylor. A Not So Fictional Fall by Savannah Scott. Going Home by Kelly J. Kelton. Melt My Heart Cowboy by C.J. Carmichael. And A Love So Real by Kimberly Ray Jordan. Alright, so I'm going to again skip those Christmas books and we're going to go to the corner here. I have some of the Puffin and Bloom classics. I'm just going to go around the plant here. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I have not read this one. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have read this one. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. Okay, now let's turn the corner. I have a little bit of my science fiction. I don't know how this is organized here. It looks like science fiction, just Brandon Sanderson and The Hobbit. And then mystery, and then more Sanderson, and there's no rhyme or reason. It just happened. Sometimes I move books that I want to be seen in the frame for my videos. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know all the books that are in frame for the videos. I'm sorry, it's not organized very well. Someday I'll get there. I have the illustrated edition of The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And then I have 2 different editions of Skyward. These actually, so most of my science fiction are in the other room on my husband's shelves because we kind of share the science fiction books. I've pulled a couple of them in here to be on my shelf. I like to talk about them in videos. I'm in the process of collecting the UK covers of Skyward here, which I think are beautiful. And then one additional go out in the living room for his, and one additional stay in here for me. This is a replica of Mbot from the Skyward series. So we have Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the US edition of Skyward. You'll have to let me know in the comments, which one is your favorite? Oh, I might be able to stand them up. Let's try it. Starsight, Skyward Flight. It's the 3 novella collection by Brandon Sanderson and Jancy Patterson. Sunreach, Read On, and Evershore. Cytonic, and Defiant. See, there we go. Redoing my bookshelves as we go. Chocolate Chip Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke. Plum Pudding Murder by Joanne Fluke. Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. And The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. Then there are the special edition hardbacks of the 4 Secret Projects from Brandon Sanderson. My favorite book of last year, Trass of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. And then the one I haven't gotten to yet, The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson. Okay, over on the side I have a little bit of YA. There's a little bit of sci-fi. It's just a pile of books. Let's just call it a pile of books. There we go. Legend and Champion by Marie Lu. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. Leia by Claudia Gray. Rebel Rising by Beth Rivas. Queen's Shadow by E.K. Johnston. Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. And As Far as I've Made It in the Wheel of Time series, The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. And I forgot to have this one on my classic shelf because I finished it today, which is Daddy Longlegs by Jean Webster. Okay, now we're down on my Christian fiction shelf. Wistress by Nadine Brandis. The Chaos Grid by Lindsay Llewellyn. Vivid by Ashley Bustamante. Winter's Maiden by Morgan Bussey. And Aberration and Recorder by Kathy McCrum. Authentically Izzy by Pepper Basham. Positively Penelope. And Loyally Luke by Pepper Basham. The Words We Lost by Nicole Deese. Love and the Little White Lie, and Love and the Silver Lining by Tammy L. Gray. Pixels and Paint by Christy Ann Hunter. Dear Henry, Love Edith by Becca Kinzer. Love in Tandem by Becca Kinzer. Rocky Road by Becky Wade. The Premonition at Withers Farm by Jamie Jo Wright. The Reckoning at Gossamer Pond by Jamie Jo Wright. Aftermath by Terry Blackstock. The Divine Proverb of Streusel by Sarah Brunswald. The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp by Sarah Brunswald. He Should Have Told the Bees by Amanda Cox. The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers. Okay, let's go into the corner here. That's the last book we just talked about. The Juliet Code by Pepper Basham. A Noble Masquerade by Christy Ann Hunter. When the Day Comes, In This Moment, and For a Lifetime by Gabriel Meyer. Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. A Voice in the Wind, An Echo in the Darkness, and Sure as the Dawn by Francine Rivers. And over in the corner we have it's a music box that I gave my mom as a thank you after her wedding. That's me and my mother on my wedding day. It's a very special book that she gave to me. This is actually her Bible. And then this one, yeah, that's my First Communion Bible that I got when I was in 2nd grade. But I just always have her Bible with me, with my videos, and a picture of her. She is a huge foundation of my building my faith and my love for people and helping people. And yeah, so that one's very special there in the corner, usually behind me in a video. Okay, here, I'm not going to pull these out. They're falling over as it is. These are 3 Bibles, 2 complete Bibles, Old and New Testament, and 1 just New Testament that I got from either a retreat. I think these were from Teens Encounter Christ retreats, and this one was from my confirmation. And there are all kinds of things stuck in there, so I'm not going to try to pull them out and have the avalanche of bookmarks and memories fall out. I'm going to leave that stay put. Lives of the Saints, an illustrated history for children. This book I used in my classroom the last 2 years I taught at a Catholic school, and this was phenomenal as a daily reader, talking about different saints and different people of faith throughout history. All I Am, a Catholic devotional for discovering who you are in God by Caroline Pignut. This was phenomenal. I read this with my middle schoolers a little bit each day. I cannot recommend this enough. If you have a middle schooler, fantastic devotional. Very pertinent to their lives today. And it was good for me too, so highly recommend that. Dream Big by Bob Goff. Excellent. I love this book. I didn't say. Over here I've got a few of my favorite reads. Different by Sally Clarkson and Nathan Clarkson. Amazing book for special needs moms. Everybody Always by Bob Goff. Fostered by Tori Hope Peterson. This book is a must if you're going into foster care. I would recommend it even if you're not involved in foster care. It's a very tough read, but a very important read. Resisting Happiness by Matthew Kelly. You are going to see this book not once, but 2 more times. This book actually, so I didn't say this earlier. So I inherited a lot of my mother's books after she passed away, and this was one of them. I had a copy of it. She had 2 copies of it, one on her shelf and actually one in her purse that she was currently reading. So this is one of the first books I picked up after she passed away, and I loved it. It was exactly what I needed to hear in that time. Rooted in Wonder by Erin Lynham. And these were my mom's. We have The Book of Virtues by William J. Bennett and The Moral Compass by William J. Bennett. She would read us some of these, and she would read through them herself little by little. I also have the children's version of The Book of Virtues that we read every story in there multiple times growing up. I have a New American Bible, the St. and Joseph edition, St. Augustine Confessions, Anxious for Nothing by Max Lucado, Her Children Arise by Casey Hilty, M is for Mama by Abby Halberstadt, Mama Bear Apologetics by Hilary Morgan Ferrer, Sick of Me by Whitney Capps, Embraced by Lisa Turkhurst, The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, and a Spirit and Song hymnal book from my mom's collection. She had this on her bookshelves, and it's one that we've used at our church for a very long time. The last stack of books, and a lot of it is reference material, so I'm going to go through this fast. You also see I have many copies of certain books because they were my mom's and I already had one, and I'm just not at the point that I want to get rid of them yet. Maybe someday, but today's not the day. I'm sorry, I have a friend joining me for the last part. Okay. All right, at 1 stack of books. Can I get through them? Oh my goodness. Concise Catholic Dictionary. Matthew Kelly, Rediscover Advent. I Heard God Laugh by Matthew Kelly, a loved edition by my children. Looks like. Matthew Kelly, Life is Messy. Rediscover the Saints by Matthew Kelly. And I have 2 more copies of Resisting Happiness, another gifted Bible, Catechism of the Catholic Church. That was my mom's copy. This was also my mom's Catholic Household Blessings and Prayers. All right, friends, we did it. Things that actually changed on the top shelf since I started this, but I'm not going to redo the top shelf. Those are all my books. If you actually peek a shelf below, those are all my TBR, but I will go over those in another video here in the next few months, so be looking forward to that. Oh, also my elephant that lost its last piece. Hopefully that is found. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.